Hello everyone, this is Ghostrick here, and today I'm making a Fallout 76 video because, unfortunately, I'm a person trapped by Fallout 76 and I keep playing it. Anyways, today I want to talk about the update that came out yesterday, well, today is 127, yesterday 126, the whole quality of life update, or patch, or whatever. It was a really good update. I enjoyed the stash increase, I enjoyed the new tabs. I feel like it is a very needed update to 76. This has been long overdue, and the community mostly enjoys it, and I myself enjoy it. But unfortunately, everything isn't perfect. So with this update came a fix to weapon durability. Now, unfortunately, this isn't everything, so certain energy weapons still have regularly low durability. Sorry, but, that's just how it is. Bethesda is still Bethesda. But they did fix an issue with certain weapons, mostly the weapons that shoot multiple projectiles, and their condition damage taking way too much. Now, I do believe that it was intentional, but Bethesda is saying that it was unintentional, but who knows? This is Bethesda, they lie sometimes. Anyways, on this thing, basically what happened is that explosive weapons, flamers, two-shot, and beam splitters basically now no longer break as fast. So if you don't know how the condition system worked, in previous Fallouts, like Fallout 3 and New Vegas, or I know at least New Vegas. New Vegas, if you just kept firing your gun, your weapon would break every time you pulled the trigger. In 76, however, how it works is every time you tag an enemy, so let's say I have a beam splitter, and let's say 5 of the beams hit, that is 5 tags. So every time it's counting 5 reduction instead of just 1 in reduction. And let's say you pile this on with explosives. So let's say you have a blooded explosive laser rifle with a beam splitter. Let's say, I don't know how many lasers it is. Let's say it's 5. And then on top of that, if you know how they work, basically you get an explosion for every beam. So that's like 10 hits. Couple that on top of, let's say you're firing in a group. Your laser rifle, if you have a legacy laser rifle, you know how fast they break. So every time a laser hits, and every time an explosive hits, whether it's the enemy or an enemy around it, that counts as a tag and that breaks the weapon faster. This was kind of the trade for legacy weapons. Legacy weapons, would do high damage as they still have insane amounts of explosive damage because they don't suffer like shotguns do. For legacies, it was always high damage, very low durability. Unfortunately, what suffered from this system was two-shot explosives. After nerf, they weren't very popular. Shotguns and explosive weapons, also flamers, they were just very unusable, especially explosive weapons. Using them in a crowd, you maybe got like 2 shots off. They were garbage. Now, this is a good thing, balancing those weapons, because a lot of people had issues with the explosive weapons and especially just being terrible and unusable because of how fast they broke. And shotguns especially, because the best thing you can have for a shotgun is either 50% VATS crits or explosive, and with explosive, shotguns just broke way too quickly to be used. So overall, I am happy with this change, but this came with a big negative of legacies now being the go-to weapon because of how long they can last. I've seen a lot more legacy laser rifles and legacy explosive Gatling plasmas just being used now because just how much more viable they are. But this came with a huge negative. Hacked weapons have become even more viable than what they once were. Now, whatever your stance are on hacked weapons, I don't care for them. As long as you're not ruining someone else's experience or using them in PvP, I don't give a shit. But there is a huge player base that hates them. I see it all the time on Reddit. Bethesda still hasn't removed them after they've been in the game for a year, which is very surprising. But the big allure for these hacked weapons is that a lot of them have a thing called a damage scope, which ups the damage as advertised. I don't remember what the scope's name is, but it does add damage. And they have beam splitters. The hacked 50 cal is a weapon that has a beam splitter. You might not be able to see it, but it is a beam splitter weapon. There's also the beam splitter handmade, beam splitter minigun, beam splitter Gatling laser, all these with explosive. So, of course, their durability loss was a lot faster, but now that's not really much of a thing anymore because that multi-projectile effect applies to them for having a beam splitter. Yes, I do have these weapons, mostly for collector's purposes because I just think they're funny, but I have tested legacies, I have tested these hacked weapons, and yes, their durability is fixed, and their durability is just a lot better. I would maybe get to kill a few enemies with a legacy, and then it would break, except for maybe the Gatling plasma, but the laser rifle would break super quick. The handmade would break a little fast, but it wasn't anything unmanageable. Now it's incredibly slower. For the legacy laser rifle, I think I would maybe get like 40 shots off before it would break, and now it's about, it's over 100. It's at least 130 shots I'm getting in. And for these hacked weapons, it only got better. It's much better. Now, whatever your stance is on these, you know, whether you hate them or you like them, they got buffed by proxy. Whether it was Bethesda's intentions or not, I don't know. I'm going to assume this wasn't their intention, because Bethesda doesn't really seem like they think things through when they release a patch, and I'm going to assume that they weren't thinking about the hacked weapons, because they don't even acknowledge them on Reddit. They just pretend it doesn't exist. Anyways, other than this big hiccup, and you might not even see it as a hiccup, I do believe that this was a very good patch. Other than that, it's what it is. You know, it's not really a huge thing. It's just a durability thing, and to people, really doesn't really matter. Most of us have like a few hundred repair kits just from fighting the Queen dozens of times, and like all the Atomic Shop free ones from like the seasons and stuff like that. So it's really nothing big. It's just, you're going to see a lot more complaints from people who, I guess, don't like legacies or the hacked weapons. That's really it. Anyways, other than that, to my knowledge, that patch is actually pretty good. Bethesda might tackle these issues later. Probably not, because in Bethesda fashion, they're not even going to acknowledge it. Other than that, yeah, solid patch, I'd say. Well, that was it. That's it for me. If you liked the video, thank you. I appreciate a like if you don't care. If you dislike it, then feel free to dislike it. If you want to subscribe, hey, I'll appreciate it. Anyways, that's me, Ghost Trick. I'll see you all later.